Time magazine called him the unsung hero behind the internet. CNN called him a father of the internet. President Bill Clinton called him one of the great minds of the information age. He has been voted history's greatest scientist of African descent. He is Philip Emeagwali. He's coming to Trinidad and Tobago to launch the 2008 Kwame Ture lecture series on Sunday, June 8th at the JFK Auditorium, UWI St. Augustine, 5 p.m. The Emancipation Support Committee invites you to come and hear this inspirational mind address the theme, crossing new frontiers to conquer today's challenges. This lecture is one you cannot afford to miss. Admission is free, so be there on Sunday, June 8th, 5 p.m. at the JFK Auditorium, UWI St. Augustine.
My new 9 partial differential equations, called Emeagwali's Equations, were the cover story of the May 1990 issue of the SIAM News, the flagship publication of the Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics. I was not on the cover of the top mathematics publications because I was good looking. I was on the cover of the top mathematics publications because I contributed to mathematics. That publicity amongst the community of research mathematicians led to a last-minute invitation for me to come to the equivalence of the Olympic Games for mathematicians. I was invited to present my mathematical discoveries in person and to answer questions from research mathematicians attending that mathematics congress. I gave that mathematics lecture on my contributions to mathematics on July 8, 1991 in Washington, D.C. 9 years earlier, in November 1982, I gave a version of my mathematics lecture to U.S. government computational scientists, and I gave that lecture a short walk from the White House, Washington, D.C. The venue of my 1982 research mathematics lecture was an hour's jogging from the venue of my 1991 research mathematics lecture at the International Mathematics Congress. In hindsight, that lecture of November 1982 was a seminal moment in the history of computational mathematics. I was the lone wolf computational mathematician that stood at the crossroad where algebra, calculus, and computing met. In that November 1982 lecture, I was an unknown black African mathematician in an ocean of white mathematicians, and for that reason, only one person attended my lecture. The unspoken assumption behind their boycott of my research mathematics lecture was that a large audience of white mathematicians learning new calculus and new algebra and learning it from a 28-year-old black research mathematician will grant that mathematician legitimacy and thus become a tacit endorsement of black mathematical prowess and acknowledging the contributions of black Africans to modern mathematical knowledge. By 1991, I was well known for my contributions to mathematical knowledge. For that reason, my research mathematics lectures filled all the seats in the lecture auditoria. And the research mathematics lecture that I delivered on July 8, 1991 to the International Congress of Mathematicians drew a capacity crowd. That Congress of Mathematicians is held once every 4 years. That Congress is to the mathematician what the Olympic Games is to the athlete. A research mathematician that contributed new mathematics to mathematical knowledge is an athlete of the mathematical mind. There are 1 million mathematicians in the world, and the cream amongst those mathematicians attended the International Congress of Mathematics. The top 1% of mathematicians, or 10,000 research mathematicians, read of my mathematical discoveries and my contributions of new calculus and new algebra to mathematical knowledge, and read my mathematical discoveries through the cover story of the May 1990 issue of the SIAM News, that is the bi-monthly news journal of record of the mathematics community that is published by the Society of Industrial and Applied Mathematics. That cover story in the SIAM News was the reason I was invited to present my mathematical discoveries of my mathematical discoveries of my new algebra and my new calculus to ICM. The acronym to the ICM, the acronym for the International Congress of Industrial and Applied Mathematics. My ICM 91 lecture was at 11 a.m. Monday, July 8, 1991 in the Dover Room of the Washington Sheraton Hotel in Washington in the District of Columbia, United States. I was familiar with the Smithsonian's National Zoo in the Washington, D.C. neighborhood of that ICM meeting. I must have jogged across that neighborhood of the Smithsonian's National Zoo in Washington, D.C. at least 100 times since October 1978. That mathematics conference was billed as the largest gathering of mathematicians ever.
Insightful and brilliant lecture.